Every time a baby is born on my island, in order to maintain population balance, an elderly person must die, because the resources on our island can only sustain 513 people. As the baby was born safely, his grandfather chose to jump off a cliff without hesitation. However, the doctor discovered the woman was carrying twins. This meant one more person had to die on the island. So the island leader immediately gathered the residents for a meeting to discuss the matter. Some said that one extra baby would not greatly affect the island, but others grew dissatisfied because the outside world had already been overtaken by a virus. They could not break the rule that only 513 people may live on the island. So to decide who would die, the island leader introduced a point-based elimination system. Everyone had their own score. Good deeds added points, bad deeds deducted points. The person with the lowest score would be executed. My friend saw that his score ranked third from the bottom. He was terrified because once chosen, he would be drowned in the sea. But I told him not to panic because the island leader was my mother. She would surely find a way to help my friend. The next day, my mother told my friend to share his apples with others. After doing a good deed, his score increased by 10 points. When the final voting stage arrived, the person ranked last was a carpenter because he had stolen from someone the day before. The islanders began voting one after another, with over 200 votes cast against him. But his wife suddenly stood up and exposed how I often abused my mother's authority, to take her into a dark room and abuse her. If she refused, I threatened to reduce her food rations for the next month. I laughed disdainfully because none of the residents believed her, but more and more women stood up, accusing me of many horrible things I had done to them. I panicked, so I walked up to my mother and asked her to defend me. However, facing all the islanders, she didn't know how to defend me either. She followed the rules and initiated a vote against me. In the end, those demanding my execution numbered over 400. My mother, the island leader, couldn't bear to have me executed and decided to exile me to the outside city instead, because the outside world was already infected by the virus. Being exiled there was no different from a death sentence. The islanders unanimously agreed. The next day, I was escorted off the island by an armed squad. It wasn't until the speedboat reached the post-apocalyptic city that I finally felt true fear. I begged the soldiers to take me back, but I was met with a brutal beating instead. It turned out they had long despised me as well. In the end, they abandoned me at the dock. They still had a mission to trade supplies in the city. What they didn't know was that this very exchange would bring a catastrophic disaster to the island.